After several days of trekking across Zion Valley, we finally arrived at the Narrows.
The dead horse has told me details about the attack on your caravan. A stranger's sympathy might not count for much, but for what it's worth, I'm sorry. The Sorrows will mourn your friends too. They mourn everyone, even the Whitelegs. They have sensitive souls. Innocent, if there is such a thing. In spite of what's happened, I hope that Joshua and I can help you out of here. But to be frank, we need your help too.
And as we enter the Narrows, we will be greeted by Waking Cloud. She will tell us that Daniel has been waiting for us, and that she knows who we are. We can also ask her about her glove, which you might want to do in order to activate another quest, but I feel like that's a subject for another video. For now, Waking Cloud will just take us to Daniel within Sorrow's camp. And here's the location of Sorrow's camp in the far northern region of Zion Valley. Now, as we move up Sorrow's camp here in the Narrows, you're going to find a lot of bridges and like huts and stuff on the side of the mountain. Clearly, the Sorrows have inhabited this place for some time. Then, of course, it starts raining. And here we can see we discover Sorrow's camp about halfway through the camp, and then we can make our way to Daniel, who we heard at the beginning of the video. Now, Daniel is a new Canaanite who is just aiding the Sorrows, and basically we can choose to help him evacuate the Sorrows or to try and encourage him to have him and the Sorrows stay and fight against the Whitelegs. And we will get back to the story later once we meet back up with Joshua Graham. But for now, some interesting facts about the Narrows. Now, the in-game Narrows is based on the real-life Narrows found in Zion National Park, and this is one of the most accurate locations within Fallout New Vegas's Zion Valley. Now, as I've said in other videos, the developers for Zion Valley and Honest Hearts in general took a lot of creative liberty in order to create the world and fit it into the narrative. But here we can actually see a somewhat accurate representation of the Narrows. And we can continue further up the Narrows, and we will find several waterfalls that kind of create a mist that hide parts of the canyon from us. And we can see our good friend Daniel walking up the canyon himself. As we get towards the back of the canyon, you're going to find a fork in the road, one that kind of slopes up, and then that one that kind of goes into this small pond. If you dive into this pond, you can find a skeleton along with a suitcase, and the suitcase had some pre-war money and a stim pack in it. So not bad. Also, you'll notice that Walking Cloud is our new companion, and I send follows Chalk back to Angel Cave. Then as we move up, we can find Half Moose Cave. There's also a boulder outside that appears to have crushed a poor soul. I'm sure this will be referenced in a later video. Now, if we go to Half Moose Cave, this cave is actually full of sorrows and is a friendly cave. Some of the caves around here, which we will explore, are actually quite dangerous, so you have to be careful when you go inside. I didn't know what to expect when I entered, but I just found it was full of friendlies. But there's not much inside of this cave besides just some sorrows living their day-to-day lives. And then this cave actually has two exits, so we can take the other exit and it'll take us towards the top of the Narrows, as you can see here. And there's a little pond in front of us, and then we can climb up. Then I found these geckos, and there are supposed to be friendly geckos here, but for whatever reason, they just disappeared along with that one NPC. I have no idea what's going on, but we got some ghost geckos. Back towards the entrance, we can find Sweet Flower Cave. I kind of walked near here in the intro of this video, Inside of this, we can find an abandoned camp along with some mole rats, so make sure to come prepared in order to kill the mole rats. Now, it appears something very bad happened in here. There are several skeletons along with various loot, especially like food and empty soda bottles, and these skeletons appear to be somewhat small, so perhaps these were some kind of Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts who were at the wrong place at the wrong time. I mean, not that there is any right place during the nuclear apocalypse. And after killing the mole rats, I was looking around and I found an interesting thing of trail mix, and I found these actually elsewhere in Zion Valley, but it's just a lunchbox, but it says trail mix on it. I just thought it was interesting. But besides that, there's not a whole lot in this cave, so we can head back out and head on to our next cave, which is Glass Chime Cave. And inside of this cave, we're going to find some white legs, so definitely be prepared to fight them. So I think this kind of demonstrates what kind of dire situation the Sorrows are in. They literally have white legs camping out right at their doorstep, or literally inside of their doorstep. This is supposed to be their territory, yet they cannot defend it. Of course, the Sorrows do not want to fight, so the white legs have an obvious advantage here that can allow them to infiltrate their base, and they can get ready for an ambush or whatever it is that they're planning here. Now, you can try and loot in here, but there is not a whole lot in the way of loot besides anything that the white legs have on them. Sometimes they carry some pretty good weapons, and of course they might have ammo and things like anti-venom on them, which are always good. So take them out. Now, I've actually found white legs to be a pretty difficult enemy in Fallout New Vegas, even more so than the marked men in Lonesome Road. The white legs just have a lot more health than other enemies, so it's been a good challenge, but having a companion has made it a lot easier, admittedly. So we can keep looting around, but there's nothing inside, and then we can head on to the next cave, and this cave here is Whitebird's Cave. However, that's a cave for another video. There's a special quest associated with that one. So we're going to move on to Crossroads Cavern. And this cave has another exit like the one before, along with a fork in the road. Now, according to the wiki, there can be a massive lag spike here, causing the game to crash on Xbox and PC. However, that did not happen to me, but maybe something to be aware of. Now, if you go right at the fork like I did, you're going to find another camp of white legs. So definitely make sure to clear them out because, well, there's no reason not to, or else they're just going to attack the Sorrows. Once you've killed them, of course, you can loot around their camp, but there isn't a whole lot. I found some rataway and some skeletons, along with some more trail mix, but besides that, not a whole lot. Now, if we come back out and go to the left in the fork, we just find a straight path towards the exit, and there's a couple of coyotes guarding the exit, but for a player such as ourselves, and I'm sure a player such as yourself, it is no problem. We finally enter this final chamber that is quite beautiful, if I do say so myself. This has been one of my favorite caves in all of New Vegas, purely from an aesthetic perspective. I just love the beams of light coming through, and then the orange and white glowing mushrooms. I think it's a really cool scene within Fallout New Vegas and within Zion Valley. And the last cave worth noting is Stone Bones Cave. However, I do have to say, this is a story for another time. As for now, there's not a whole lot else we can do in the Narrows besides some side quests, which will be mentioned more in another video. And I decided to try and exit the map, however I could not do it, but I could get to the top area and you can get some pretty darn decent views of the Narrows, as you can see here. But I couldn't leave the map. These mountains are truly just too tall, and it really gives a reason for the Narrows' namesake. And with that, we will make our way towards the exit of Zion Valley. Now, as we exit, we will be greeted by our good friend Joshua Graham, who has a lot of explaining about what is happening and about our future objective, so feel free to take a listen.
By the rivers of Babylon, there we sat down. Yea, we wept, when we remembered Zion. Remember, O Lord, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it even to the foundation. O daughter of Babylon, who ought to be destroyed, happy shall he be that rewardeth thee as thou hast served us. Happy shall he be that taketh and dasheth thy little ones against the stones. Do you know what it means? Given those two choices, yes. In the best of all possible worlds, they would just leave us in peace. But they won't. I don't enjoy killing, but when done righteously, it's just a chore, like any other. Practiced hands make for short work, and the good Lord knows there's much to be done here. Happy are those who do the work of the Lord. Zion belongs to God and the people of God. It is a natural temple and monument to his glory. When our Lord entered the temple and found it polluted by money changers and beasts, did he ask them to leave? Did he cry? Did he simply walk away? No. He drove them out. It is one thing to forgive a slap across my cheek, but an insult to the Lord requires... No. It demands correction. I and the dead horses are prepared to do what must be done to protect Zion from the White Lakes. And though Daniel won't accept it yet, there are many sorrows who are also prepared. They may not be warriors, but this is their home. If you have a chance to speak with Daniel about this, ask him to consider defending Zion instead of abandoning it. He has good intentions, but I fear that if we evacuate the sorrows from this place, it will be lost to them, and us, forever.
Alright everyone, thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you enjoyed. If you have any recommendations for the next location, please post them in the comments section below. And, as always, until next time.